At some point, everyone is going to be wrong. We're all going to make a mistake at one point. Even though some people don't want to admit that, I think it's funny that there's a lot of people who walk around and say, don't worry, we all make mistakes. But then when they make a mistake, they don't want to admit it at all, and they stay and they double down, even if they're 100% completely wrong, because they just don't want to admit that they made a mistake. And not so long ago, a lot of people has basically made one mistake because we were completely wrong about something. Something that me and a lot of other people were 100% positive that we were going to be right about, and that obviously has to be Netflix. So I think we all know that Netflix is basically just fallen off. It's not good at all, and I literally don't know why you even own Netflix at this point, because there's literally nothing to watch. So much people have talked about it, but basically the platform is just meaningless. They have absolutely no good shows on it, and once in a blue moon when they do decide to actually put effort in a TV show and actually make something good, all you need to do is get Netflix just to watch that, and then you basically don't need to use it anymore. There's literally no reason to have it, and especially nowadays because there's just so much competition and there's so much other streaming services that just have way more better TV shows and stuff to watch. A good example will easily be HBO Max, even though they're not called that anymore, they're just called Max. I know there's a lot of people who say that that's not that good, and yeah, there is a lot of criticism to hold for it, but hey, at least you actually have more than one good TV show to watch. At least you can actually go there and watch a lot of stuff on it. Another good example is Hulu. I think Hulu is absolutely terrible, easily one of the worst streaming services we have out there, but hey, at least on Hulu you have some stuff you can watch. There's some things that you can pick up and actually enjoy and have a good time. Netflix has none of that, because every time when a Netflix show goes mainstream, it usually blows up for an extremely wrong reason. Really, because it has a lot of controversy over it, or it just does something just absolutely not good, and it gets tons of people absolutely angry. That's the only time when Netflix actually pops off and people want to talk about it. Well, not so long ago, Netflix ended up deciding to make a decision to basically crack down on password saving. Suddenly, out of nowhere, they didn't like it anymore. They saw that you were sharing your password with literally tons of other people, and they weren't happy at all. And they were basically saying that that's not going to happen anymore. And they were going to stop people from sharing multiple passwords, basically saying that everyone on Netflix needs to have their own account. So no more you have a Netflix account and you're sharing it with one of your friends or something. That's not happening. If your friend wants to go and watch Netflix, he's going to need to have his own Netflix subscription service. And obviously, a lot of people thought that this was just absolutely going to be the death of the platform. They literally thought that no one was going to use Netflix anymore, and it was basically going to be over. Done and dusted, put in the back, and it was basically never going to be seen ever again. We thought this was going to be one of the biggest mistakes Netflix was ever going to make. As big as throwing a bagel on someone, and then he ended up turning into a supervillain. We thought it was going to be that level of a mistake. But although Netflix got a lot of backlash for it, and they did say that they were going to stop doing it, we all know how companies do. They usually say it and they make an apology saying that, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. And then on the internet, when people just forget about it, because obviously everyone on the internet just forgets about things, they were going to go and do it, and they were. Suddenly out of nowhere, Netflix thought it was going to be a good idea to actually start doing this password sharing thing on some other countries. I think the biggest example has to be Canada. On Netflix, Canada was one of the first places where they decided to crack down on password sharing, and a lot of people weren't happy about it at all. Well, now, obviously, it is time, and now it is going worldwide. Basically, everyone on Netflix is now going on this password saving thing, and we all thought it was going to be over. We thought that, well, Netflix is going to be absolutely done for. No one is going to use it anymore. Because I really thought that people just weren't going to pay for the service. They're going to log on Netflix and they're going to see that, you can't go and use this because you need to make your own Netflix account, and they're just going to go and leave. They're going to be like, well, that's an absolute waste of money. Why would I spend $10 a month, or I don't even know how much money Netflix is at this point. Why would I spend this much money on Netflix when I could easily just go and watch something else for free and get probably better content? Well, we were 100% wrong, because new data ended up coming out, and apparently this plan worked perfectly. Netflix sales has 100% double, and they're actually making more money. The plan has actually worked, which is absolutely insane to me to think that people actually are buying this. And also, this is something that's just extremely bad. But before I go into that, again, what is there to watch on Netflix? If you are someone who got your Netflix account from password sharing, and then they suddenly stopped doing it, it, why would you go and spend more money on another Netflix account? Like, what are you going to go watch? You're gonna watch Big Mouth? That's absolutely terrible. That's an insult to eyes. That's how bad that is. You're gonna watch like Tall Girl? Like, what does Netflix has that's actually worth watching? It literally has nothing. And probably, most people probably aren't even gonna buy Netflix to watch that, because what they're most likely going to do is watch their favorite YouTuber talk about the TV show and talk about how terrible it is. And then they're gonna say, well, because I watched this video on it, I basically watched a movie. That's what most people are going to do. But no, for some weird reason, people are just buying more of this. It's just completely confusing. And also, this is something that's just extremely bad too, because this is easily going to start a trend. I am not going to be surprised at all if you see more streaming services starting to do this and starting to think that this is an absolute good idea because they see Netflix do it and 100% succeed. We see this all the time with literally everywhere, especially when it comes to phones. Apple will make an absolutely terrible anti-consumer decision. All other phone companies will go and make fun of them, and then when they see how much money they're making, they decide they're going to do it too. A good example has to be chargers. You know, Apple didn't start launching their phone with chargers, and now basically every single modern phone doesn't come with a charger, so they can make more money. So you know for a fact that other streaming services are going to see that Netflix done this and it's succeeded extremely well, and they're going to be like, well, it's time for me to go on this wagon. I need to do it too. And they're suddenly just going to stop password sharing so they can go and make more money. Now, although there are some streaming services on Twitter who are making fun of them and saying, look, you can password share on our platform, they're actually just doing that so they can feel connected, because, you know, meme marketed is basically the new next thing, and everyone has to be on Twitter cracking funny jokes because, you know, you got to connect to the young people, the next generation. And, you know, we do that with posting funny memes. Even though most of the time if you do that, you're probably going to fail, unless you're Opera GX. They're literally the only Twitter company who can post like funny jokes and people are 100% for it and they don't call it cringe. What if you're any other company and you try to do it? Nope, doesn't absolutely work. People are going to call you cringe and blast you and say you're probably run by like a 30-year-old man. I remember seeing that comment section and just, wow, some of them can be absolutely rootless. But that's completely off topic. The Netflix plan has basically worked. The password sharing plan has gone as well as intended, and I think this is extremely bad. So yeah, I guess all we can do with most situations is just wait and see. I see a lot of people are talking about the voice being muffled. I know, I hear your concern, and I'm going to try to find ways to fix it. So I am trying. Anyway, my name is Lua. This is something that I want to talk about. You have a good day or night.